Thank you, Madam President. I am privileged to be on the floor today with my fellow senator from Iowa, Senator Ernst, and I am here to join in a chorus of voices to ask this Congress to do better, to do our to-do list, to do the things that people sent us here to do. So I'm going to highlight some of the critical items that Congress still needs to get done, and she talked about them very eloquently. When I'm home in West Virginia, people ask me about policies that impact their everyday lives. They ask about health care. They ask about the pensions and health care for our retired miners. They ask about surprise medical bills. I've certainly received them, and many people in this country every day, 2 or 3 months after an operation or a visit to the hospital, may receive a bill in the mail they had no idea was coming their way. The high cost of prescription drugs. This is an issue that hits many of us, many in our pocketbooks, and particularly for those who suffer from disease or those who are elderly, it is a particular strain on their wallets. They ask about national security and caring for our veterans. Here's one everybody complains about, including all of us here: robocalls. Can somebody please stop the onslaught of robocalls? We've got legislation, but we're not getting the action on it that we need to do. Better trade deals that will help grow our economy and support our American workers. You know what they're not asking me about? My constituents are not asking me about the latest impeachment headline. They're not asking me about witnesses in front of a House committee or the newest breaking news over on the House side. In their minds, it's just a bunch of Washington hoopla to most people. A few days ago, I ran into some constituents while I was running errands, and they said to me, "Just stop this, stop this." Something similar happened while I was grocery shopping, and the butcher says to me, "Aren't you just tired of it?" Well, yes, I am. We have 2 weeks until Congress leaves for Christmas break, 21 days till the end of the month, and we still have so much to do. Our sole focus should be on legislating and making life better for people across the country. And I can tell you, as somebody who's been in this body and across the aisle for several years, when you rush to judgment and when you rush to legislate, that is when things that you don't know get into bills, and things that you want into bills don't get into bills. So rushing into legislating is not the way and fairest way to do it. I'm pleased that at long last we're going to pass a National Defense Authorization Act that protects our national security and supports our men and women in uniform. We still need to pass appropriations bills that fund much of our federal government. I'm the chairman of the Homeland Security Subcommittee, so I very much want to see us enact a bill that would provide critical resources to protect this country. Homeland Security, sure, we have Border Patrol, we have the Wall, we have ICE. You know what else we have? Coast Guard, TSA, Secret Service, FEMA, absolutely essential services. This includes our funding for our immigration laws and also the border, continuing to fund and work on the border wall system. So I want to see us pass all 11 of these bills, as well as provide funding for our troops and our veterans. Funding medical research. I'm committed to funding the research for the research of Alzheimer's, addressing the opioid epidemic, infrastructure, and many other priorities. I've also have a priority that really affects just part of the country, but deeply affects those of us in West Virginia. We need to enact the Bipartisan American Miners Act this year. Congress must act to save the health care of 13,000 retired miners and protect the pension benefits of about 92,000 people. More than 25,000 retired miners received benefits in West Virginia last year, and we have a bipartisan bill to address this critical issue for our mining families and for West Virginia communities. It is critical we pass this bill before the end of the year because this situation is getting more dire every single day. The USMCA, United States-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. It's been waiting for action all year, as Senator Ernst said. I'm glad to see that Speaker Pelosi is finally moving on this, an agreement that will grow our economy and include robust protections for American workers. We've got to get this across the finish line. I'm especially proud of the work that we're doing on the Environment and Public Works Committee. We passed a 5-year highway bill out in a bipartisan, we had a unanimous vote, 21-0. It would help improve the roads, highways, bridges that Americans count on every day to travel safely, whether they're going to church, whether they're going to the job, or they're going on a family trip. Reauthorization of this federal surface transportation program is a top priority for the coming year. We have a lot to do in the coming days, but we also have lots to do in the coming year. So I hope that we will work together and not practice the past practices of this year, and I hope we will work together to get that job done. With that, I yield back my time. Thank you.